Again, welcome to the course on how to learn music as a foreign language. You are now about to start your journey in learning how to read music. Our first course is called Introduction to Music Symbols. This is Grade 1, Level 1. And we are now in Section 2. And in this section, we shall be learning the first set of music symbols. And here's what we will cover in this section. First, we study the music alphabet, then the music staff, then the music notes and music rests. Then we shall look at the stem and the note head and some stem rules on the position and its direction. First in the list is the music alphabet. The music alphabet consists of the first 7 letters of the English language: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. These letters are very familiar to most people, so there's no need to explain each one of them, except that each letter represents a music note. We shall study these letters a little bit deeper in the next few sections. For the meantime, probably the most important lesson here is to learn that in a consecutive flow of notes, we go back to A after G. So here's a bit of an exercise for you. I know you can read fast or maybe very fast from A to G. Now, can you do the same backwards? Try reading the same speed from G to A. Secondly, we look at the music staff. The music staff consists of 5 parallel lines. Notes are written on these lines and in the spaces between them. Now, it is very important that we count the lines and spaces starting from the bottom going to the top and not the other way around. In other words, the bottom line is the first line and the top line is the 5th line. The bottom space is the first space and the top space is the 4th space. This is very important as we begin to study the position of notes within the music staff. The third in the list of our first set of music symbols are the notes themselves. For this course, we shall be recognizing 5 different kinds of notes, and we are going to learn them according to their values. By values, I mean their beats. In other words, every one of these notes has its own number of beats, and that's how we are going to classify them. This is the whole note, and it has 4 beats. This is the half note, and it has 2 beats. This is the quarter note, and it has 1 beat. This is the 8th note, and it has half of a beat. And this is the 16th note, and it has a quarter of a beat. Remember how these notes look. The whole note looks like a circle. The half note has a note head of a whole note, but with a stem. The quarter note has a shaded note head and also with a stem. The 8th note looks like a quarter note with an added tail or a flag. And the 16th note looks like an 8th note with 2 tails or flags. In Western music, the naming of notes is based on the 4-beat note, which is the whole note. So the reason why half note is called as such is because its value is half of the whole note or 2 beats. And we call it a quarter note because its value is only 1/4 of the whole note or 1 beat. The 8th note is called as such because its value is 1/8 of the whole note or 1/2 of 1 beat. And lastly, the 16th note is called as such because its value is 1/16 of the whole note or 1/4 of 1 beat. The next set of symbols that we're going to study is the rest. We already know that the notes indicate the sound of music when we play them in a musical instrument. The beats or counts indicate the duration or length of sounding the notes. So for example, if we use the piano as our instrument, to play a whole note means we hold the key for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. To play a half note means we hold the key for 2 counts. 1, 2. In music, precise counting is the most essential skill that a musician can learn in order to form the playing of the notes into beautiful sounds of music. The music rule says the musician must keep the counting even if the notes are not played. In other words, counting must continue even in silence. And this is where the music rests come in. Music rests are classified according to their beats or counts, just like the notes. Each music rest is represented by a symbol. This is the whole rest. It has the same 4 beats as the whole note. The only difference is the whole rest has 4 beats of silence. This is the half rest, which has the same 2 beats as the half note. Now we shall look at these 2 rests a little bit more in the next few sections when we write them in the music staff. Now meet the quarter rest, which has the same 1 beat as a quarter note. This is the 8th rest with 1/2 of a beat of silence. And lastly, the 16th rest, which has 1/4 beat of silence. Now let's study one of these notes a little bit more. Let's focus on a quarter note for a moment. Now we know that the quarter note has a stem attached to the note head. It's important to know that there are rules that govern the direction and the position of the stem. First, here's the rule about the direction of the stem. If the note is written below the 3rd line of the music staff, the stem must be written pointing upwards. If the note is written above the 3rd line, the stem must be written pointing downwards. If the note is on the 3rd line, the stem can either go up or down. In other words, if you are the composer, it's up to you where you want to direct the stem. Now, the rule about the position of the stem. If the stem is pointing up, it must be written on the right side of the note head. If the stem is pointing down, it must be written on the left side of the note head. At any rate, the most important thing to know about the notes with the stem is that it is the note head that determines the position of the note and not the stem. This is the end of section 2.